Evening all. Just thought I'd give you a bit of an update, seeing as you haven't seen me for a while. It's been about a week, 10 days, something like that, since I've done a vlog. A few reasons for that. Went fishing last Sunday, not whatever date it was. It would have been the 6th of September. Went fishing on, the Horns Dam, which is in Goosnarr in Lancashire. It had been productive a couple of times. We've been best was 12 fish in a set. If you heard that was my cat. He's like, what's going on? Dad's on the camera again. Yeah, it did 12 fish for me in a session, and I think 4 for Drew, which, it was a good day. However, last couple of times we've been, it's not been as productive. It was sort of 4 fish and then 1. That was last week. So sitting there, and when I say dobbers, we have dobbers. We have fucking dobbers. So I'm giving you sort of a 2-week update this time. It's going to be more than that normally. I'll explain why briefly later. So yeah, we went. It looked nailed on for fish, really did. Got there early-ish, but not as early as normal, which to our detriment was a bit of a foobar. It was fucked up, to be fair. So we got there, we got the swims we wanted, so both of us quite happy with that. Up the far end of the lake, and it's only about half an acre, 3/4 of an acre. It's not a massive water. Some decent fish in it, but the top end of the lake, 2 young lads. But our swim was free. Literally dropped in, started setting up, and it's not a detrimental thing to the to the fishery, but it's also a caravan park, and people that caravan there, they get to go fishing. And the youngest lad, probably late 20s, my cat's curling up on my feet leather. Him and his girlfriend set up bang in the middle of my swim. Just fucking sod's law. He rocked up just after I'd put all the particle down and boilies. Drew was to my right hand side, and he literally had, it's a donut with an island, and he literally had a full side to himself, apart from the 2 dobbers at the top. Young lad and lass come fishing. They went on sort of the middle of where I baited. I thought, just see where she drops. She literally dropped her bait next to where mine would have been, and he dropped in the middle of where my second rod would have been. So I kind of got an audience. Good old wood pigeons. Yeah, so long story short, I wouldn't say they screwed me swim up, but they were fishing where I wanted to fish. Shit happens, I suppose, with it being such a small water. But anyway, long story short, I had one take probably an hour and a half after they'd left. I'm pretty sure they just wanted to come down, do a bit of dogging, to be fair. Yeah, pretty sure that's what they were after. But anyway, after they buggered off, I had one take, which was £10, 12 ounce, nice fish. Drew had 4 fish, but it was hard going. It really was. Been fishing Scorpex on there, and it has been going mental for Scorpex. But no, it wasn't for having. I think a lot of damage was done by the doggers. So from the doggers to the dobbers. Now this is important, guys. If you do sort of like jump on to a watercraft is key to finding the fish, but once you get the fish on the bank, it's essential that you look after them. Now these dobbers, it pains me to say they weren't having a bad day, and they didn't really know how to look after fish after they got them on the bank. It was taking far too long for them to get them back in the water. You know, we've all been there, we've all been young kids, but you know, little things, keep your fish wet. You know, if you're going to have them out of water for any length of time, you've got to keep them wet. You've got to keep them hydrated, or else you're hurting the fish. Another thing, if you take your landing net down to carry the fish in, you know, the first thing you do before you cast your rod out, or straight after you cast your rod out, is make sure your landing net's back up. 3, 4, maybe 5 times, they didn't have a landing net set up in time to bank the fish, which just puts more strain on the fish in my eyes. That kind of annoys me. If I'd have been in a better place mentally, I'd have possibly gone over and given them a bit of advice. So that's as much my fault, and you know, I'll apologise for that. But I didn't want to go over all shouty because they weren't looking after the fish. I mean, needless to say that it's probably a 20-yard chuck to the Hound from where they were fishing, and he was going halfway into the Hound on a couple of casts. You know, he didn't really know what he was doing. So, you know, anyway, rant over. That and littering does piss me off a little bit. So fast forward to Monday, because it'll be Monday the 8th? No. 7th, Monday the 7th, yeah. It was back to school for the girls full time, which meant that my missus and my 2 girls weren't actually staying at home. At the moment, without car, due to the job I had, taking my car away when they took away my job, thanks to COVID fucking 19. So yeah, they were staying over with the older kids in the other house. Basically meant that I didn't have my family around me, and I need them around me, to be fair. They're my backbone, my life, and from being in a situation where since March we've been together, you know, pretty much 24/7, you know, to having a week where you didn't have anybody apart from 4 cats, it fucked me up, really messed my mental health up. And I'd like to give a bit of kudos to Danny, although we didn't actually catch up. He was great, offering a lifeline, because I've been in a really dark place, I say that. You know, mental health does matter. I'm fed up with this Black Lives Matter bullshit, and I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but you know, all lives matter. Doesn't matter whether you're black, white, yellow or brown. It really doesn't. We're all fucking human. As soon as we actually get together and start respecting each other a bit more, and saying that we matter more than anybody else, it's not about equally or equality. It's about, well, let's show that, you know, we are different in my eyes. You know, I wouldn't treat a black man any different than I treat a yellow man any different than I treat a brown man. I treat everybody in the same vein, and I will never ever say, well, oh, is it only because I'm X, Y, Z? You know, is it because I'm fat? That's the same, isn't it? You know, is it because I've got a beard? It doesn't really matter. I respect you all. Don't piss on my chips. Don't shit on my fucking doorstep. And I'm fed up with that. One thing that does come apparent is mental health. And mental health is very, very, very important. I think through lockdown, more people have actually appreciated that, you know, it's not a badge. It's a situation that we all find ourselves in. And, you know, I've suffered from mental health issues in the past, to the point where I did, you know, literally, and I'm not lying when I say this, it was a coin toss. I sat in the attic of a house I used to live in with a rope around my neck, and I tossed a 1 penny piece. Had it have been heads, you wouldn't have been seeing this vlog. Fortunately, it was tails, and I'm still here. Or unfortunately, whatever way you want to look at it. But because of that, I'd hit the bottom of the lowest point of my life. And last week I was getting close to that because I had no one to talk to really. I didn't have the hustle bustle of the house. I didn't have the girls making a mess. Or, you know, I missed it. Missed it massively, especially after such a long period of living in each other's pockets. You know, so thanks very much to Danny for even offering a lifeline. But what I would say to everybody is, you know, just if your mate's not acting his normal self, he might not want to tell you, but it doesn't mean that you can't put an arm around his shoulder. So don't think about yourself, think about others. and stop coming with this BLM bullshit. It should be ALM, or if you're from Burnley, White Lives Matter. What a fucking stupid thing to do. I know what they were trying to do. I'm just surprised he spelt the words white and lives and matter correctly, because that's probably discriminating against Burnley folk now. So Burnley lives matter. Anyway, move on to this Sunday. Again, we'd been toying with a few ideas about a new water that we've neither fished nor seen, to be fair. A place called Hillside. And it was we've been playing about with a few things, so I've spoken to one of the head bailiffs there, and I'm just about to kick my cat off the table. Piss off. That's Sooty. Funnily enough, she's also known as the N-word because she's black. Anyway, El Negrado has now left the building. Yeah, at Hillside, we sort of toyed about with the idea. Again, not going to lie to you, seen some of the reviews and they were pretty abysmal. So I thought speak to the head bailiff, if I get a chance to speak to anybody, just sort of like clarify a few matters. So I spoke to him and it was really nice. You know, told him what our game plan would be, and he said that was brilliant, not a problem with them, come up and fish. Now unfortunately, Drew is unable to fish last weekend and do a night session due to work commitments of his missus. So, you know, we sort of put that on the back burner, but it was imminent. Excuse me. So we noticed that we could fish another water at Hoynesdam, which is the bigger water. Now that's the one that's got the big carp in. So plans were hatched that we were going to go there Sunday the 13th. And we did. And we wish we hadn't. It was shite. Blankety blank. For both of us. Well, technically not for both of us, because Drew got pissed off towards the latter end of it. So switched his boilie around and put a pellet on and called himself a snotty bream, which is, they don't count, he doesn't know that yet. But he didn't blank when it comes to fish. Yours truly did. It was fucking abysmal. I mean, I had high hopes. One of the rods I put out with a stocking on full of lots and lots of tasty morsels, you know, and it was bubbling to fuck. It was going mental. Got a few bleeps, and that's it. Should be a few more bleeps because it was hard work. One guy came into the next peg, asked if we were casting towards the island, which we were, and then he cast 2 rod lengths out and never went near the island. So why did you ask that question? But yeah, Drew had a bream, I had fuck all. I met up with the guy that got me into carp fishing 30 years later, so that was a blessing. Sort of 30 years ago, there or thereabouts, probably about 27 if I'm being truthful. Well, 30 years ago, because he took me fishing everywhere. Got my first carp rod off him, my first ever roach pole. He gave me all his hand-me-down stuff that he'd have thrown out way before the days of sort of online auctions. He'd have just thrown it away, or it had been in the cellar. But he put me under his wing with a friend of his, and I haven't seen him for going on 30 years. And we were sitting there and two guys come walking up. Didn't really see them to start off with, but then I heard this voice, "Much doing, lads?" Straight away I knew who it were. I haven't seen him for that length of time. And yeah, so Terry, who I first ever went carp fishing with, did my first ever night session with, he rocked up behind my peg with Drew next to me, and Drew's heard loads about Terry McLaughlin, but he's never met him. Didn't even know who we were, really. And then we get chatting. So, may not have caught any carp, but I caught up with a very, 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 very old friend, and we've exchanged numbers and texted a few times, and fingers crossed, we'll hopefully include him on some of our future and upcoming excursions. Talking of which, the next one is our first night session together. So it's going to be the Saswa and Drew Cats. It'd be a good name for a fishing brand, that, Saswa and Drew Cats. But anyway, Saswa and Drew Cat are doing their first night fishing expedition. We're doing it on Saturday from 12 lunch till Sunday 12 lunch this coming week, and we're doing it at Hillside Fishery. Got some of the carpy baits coming. I believe it's the Meaty Mite Plum. Got 5 kilos of that coming, so thumbs up to you for that. The only fish I've caught in the last 2 sessions was on a poker nut, when Scopex has been doing the biz for me. But yeah, caught it on a poker nut, which is also carpy, a cherry carp should I say. Get it right eventually. So yeah, new baits coming, new bed chair coming. Good to see the lovely missus, who said, "Well, your bite's gonna be fucked." I'm like, "Well, yeah, it will be, but I'll sleep on my chair." She's actually ordered me a nice new bed chair. So whatever they do, fucking Gareth Bale bullshit. Yeah, so coming towards the end of this, mentioned obviously cherry carp, using their baits, which is really nice. The TS1 hasn't produced as many results as I'd like it to yet, but it smells nice. Well, it doesn't actually, it stinks, but I'm pretty sure it's going to do well in the winter months, and I'm looking forward to the Meaty Mite Plum coming through. Still going to be using Scopex, so I'd like to do a few big ups if possible. First of all, Julian Condiff, putting him first because he always answers questions and he always gives honest advice. I can't wait to meet the guy properly and just say thank you, because 100% carp angler, 100% bloke, 100% a friend, and no matter what you ask him, he takes time out. He's got a busy schedule, I'm sure, and he takes time out, so I can't wait to meet you, and thank you, I really do. Obviously the Twitter entourage that are out there, there's many names, and I'm not going to name you all, because you all know who you are, because you'll be watching this video, because you'll have had a link sent to you. So thank you to you. Thank you to Drew Cat for being my oldest and bestest friend. And I'd also like to thank Danny and Tammy, because Danny, although we didn't actually catch up, it meant 100% to me, really. I wasn't in a good place. I was really starting to plummet, and you just gave me a little lift up, and it was nice to know that you were there. So love and peace to you. So I also want to mention Danny's big day ticket session. I think he banked 14 fish, some fucking monsters, some absolute beautiful fish. I'll try and put a montage together at the end of this. Bear in mind, these aren't the fish I caught. These are the fish that Danny caught. I'm also going to put the fish that Tammy caught in there. But, and this is a big but, their little lad Shay caught his first ever double yesterday. And I'm going to say to you, big lad, well done. Keep it up, and they're only going to get bigger. What can I say? You're a little legend, and the end credit to you goes to you, Shay lad, and I'll also put your fish up. Ta-da for now. There is a postscript actually, after you've seen that little montage. I'd like to offer a big get well soon to Gary Bays from Bayswater. Believe he's just had a heart attack, and he's convalescing and being cared for. But hopefully if you see this, Gary, from all the carping community, I'd like to wish you a speedy and full recovery. And thank you for your commitment to the carping world over the decades. All the best, mate.